Alright folks, welcome to Premium Fuel Mag. We are here in Thomas's garage working on the Pro-Am car. And we've been making a lot of progress. I have not been doing video. Steve and Thomas have been helping me out a whole lot, and like I've said in the past, when I got folks helping me, I don't really like to do a lot of video just because I like to be respectful of people's time, and video is time consuming. But having said that, I do have time for a good update for you guys. So we're gonna go over what we've done so far. So, first things first, the 5.0 is in the Miata, and there's tons of space. And surprisingly, it's actually really easy for this engine to come in and out. Shout out to One-Off Custom Cars and Motorcycles for the K member that they provided to us. This came out of a 408 drag car. It bolted right up to the car very easily, and so I didn't have to do that. So the motor sits down on that. You have to look at previous videos to see what the K member actually looks like. It's in there. But as you can see, the motor's in here. We don't have the heads. They're also at One-Off Custom Cars and Motorcycles getting cleaned up just because they were like really nasty and crusty. So thanks to my buddy Ed over there for looking out for Project Poor Cobra.
So many uhs, so little time, Stu.
What do you say?
So many uhs, so little time.
Yes. Until I get better. So, who that?
What's up? Frank's here.
Ah, it's Frank and Heather. What's up?
Welding with the doors closed?
Yeah.
We were open when we were welding.
You guys are on YouTube.
Hi.
So,
They're used to that.
here's the fitment of the front wheels. As you can see, we've got one of the Drift Fox fender flares on there. As I said, I'm going to incorporate as much from the Drift Fox onto this car as possible. So that actually fits really nice. We're going to do the same flares in the rear. The car was in probably 9 out of 10 condition chassis-wise. There's a little bit of rust here on the rear quarters. It's the same on the other side. Unfortunately, my floorboards were completely rotted out, so we installed new floorboards out of Diamond Plate. I custom cut these, and I actually made a mistake and got metal that was way too thick because I don't know gauges. I think
It's like bulletproof floors.
yeah, pretty much. I think they told me that the normal body panels or normal floorboards are like 20 gauge, and for some reason I got 14 gauge, which is like 4 times thicker. So these things are like 1/8 of an inch thick. Like
You're gonna weld his cage. You're gonna be able to weld your cage straight to it.
pretty much, yeah. So I wanted to get that stuff done because the car's getting ready to go to Andy Hampke at Pop Pop's garage to get the cage put on. I punked out. I do not want to do the cage. So we're gonna let Andy handle that. The rear end is still not taken care of. Me and Thomas were in here, and he basically convinced me to cut my trunk out, and after making much discussion, we're going to put the radiator in the back. So we've got the fans. Those are the previous Drift Fox fans that are going to go on there. Those are my headers, and somewhere around here is, where is it? Well, that's a high flow water pump for the engine. Where's my water pump? Oh, here it is, underneath the header. So this is my high flow water pump. Looks like a little tiny turbo. So the way this works, just for reference, this is an EWP 150. There you go, Davies and Craig. This is their most powerful pump that they offer. It flows roughly 40 gallons per minute. For reference, your stock engine water pump is going to pump like 11 gallons a minute at 1,000 RPMs. So there's going to be a little bit of trade-off there. Your engine water pump only meets maximum efficiency when you're like 3,000 and above RPMs.
It probably cavitates at red line.
Exactly. So even though your engine water pump is pretty good, it's not enough to get your coolant all the way to the back of the car and back. So what you do is, we'll go into this later when we actually do it, is you have your water pump that pushes your coolant back to the radiator in the back, and then you have your electric water pump on the other side of the radiator pushing coolant back to the engine. So that's how that's going to work. What else?
Yeah.
Did I forget anything?
You did a lot of cutting.
Oh yeah.
You got stuff that still needs to be done with your suspension and front end and...
Oh yeah. The front end is all loose. Brakes need to get done. For future reference, also, in order to get a 302 to fit in here with my motor mount setup, different ones are gonna be a little bit different, but we had to bash that in. We did a lot of cutting. We cut the shelf out of the back of here because this shelf actually continues all the way through here, and it actually comes all the way out like this. We cut all of that out. We had to bash in a little bit of corner around there where the starter is, and it actually fit really nice. We did not have to beat the transmission tunnel, but the fitment of the trans tunnel, it sits a little bit forward, so you can see the circle of the stock shifter hole there. This is where the shifter sits, but because the Mustangs have the double bend dealie, the ball of the shifter will actually be in roughly the same spot. So I think that's everything for the update of the car, and probably in the next clip will be a week from now, and we'll be dropping the car off at Andy's house.
Hell yeah.
So it'll be a week for me, and it'll be like 3 seconds for you guys. All right guys, we're here at Andy's house, Pop's garage. He's got the there's Andy. What's up? You might remember him from a video way back where he made my first set of drift knuckles for the Fox body. So we got the car in his garage. Hopefully I'll be able to come back tomorrow and see some of the cage getting made and do a little bit of work to the car myself. We'll see what happens. Yeah, you're on the video. It's all good. We're back at One Off Custom Cars and Motorcycles with Ed, and he's finishing up swapping the valve springs onto the new head so I can rev those things to the moon. Actually, that's not the new head. That's the cleaned up old head. And all that crud stuff that was in the ports, it's all gone. So these things are almost good as new. Good enough for me for the old 302 build, and possibly be slapping these on tomorrow. We'll see. Alright guys, we're back at Pop's garage with Andy, Brandon. We got a swing set in the house, and the cage is going in the car. It's my first time actually seeing the car topless, but the cage is going in there nicely. And if I haven't mentioned it already, this cage is the Spec Miata cage from MiataCage.com. There's the logo for you to see. So I'm just gonna let these guys do what they do, and I'm actually going to be working on putting the engine together up front. So lots of progress is going to happen in here today. I was trying to get the cam in here today, and looks like it's not going to happen. I destroyed the pulley puller, so now I owe somebody a new puller tool, and the balancer is not going to come off today. So I think I'm just going to wrap everything up and go ahead and take a look at the progress on the cage. Alright, so here's the current state of things. Most of the cage is in. Everything is just tacked on and mocked up. This is a super tight fitting cage, and we'll go into detail into that a little bit later on once things are done. But actually looks like a real race car right now. So this is super exciting. And then just like I said a moment ago, I didn't get as far as I wanted on the engine. But here's a preview of what things are going to look like. And that Cobra breather element is actually going to have to go through the hood, so we're going to cut that out later on. So that's how that's going to look. Alright guys, the cage is all done. Once again, shout out Pop Pop's Garage. And if I hadn't mentioned it already, he's not just a roll cage guy, he's actually a fabricator. Does all types of welding, aluminum, any kind of weird projects that you need, or roll cages. Hit him up. I'll put his Instagram down below. Also, shout out to Brandon. Sorry about your tool. There's another one in the mail for you. But yeah, just thoughts on this cage. This is a super good fitting cage. I don't know if I said it already, but I had planned on putting gussets in, but this thing is like already super tight to all the panels. Fits inside the doors. And this is definitely a professional level install. I was going to do it myself. I have installed the cage on my Mustang. It was a bolt-in cage, and it was way easier than this thing. I definitely don't recommend this as a DIY project if you don't have experience putting cages in. So that's pretty much it for this video. And the next video, we're gonna clean this thing up and get everything painted. So shout out, thanks Andy, thanks Brandon. I'll catch you guys next time.